let me quickly introduce to you the main man of the evening, your show host for this particular summit, because at the helm of this News9 Global Summit is a vision of a man who's literally redefined what Indian media today aspires to do. We're talking about flair, we're talking about sharpness, we're talking about a person with a winning mindset and somebody who's always 10 steps ahead. He's the reason why TV9 Network is what it stands for today. You know what? I'll just let the big screen here do the talking for itself.
How do you define who you are? What is my philosophy? How do I take that as a learning? This is like an exploratory question. Our identity in the life that we carry is primarily with the work that we do. But it's a long journey ahead. I'm a student of brands. I run the largest news network of the largest democracy in the world. My responsibility is maximum to my people around me. And I like to put things in simple equation, which I call objectifying subjectivity. I have been hosting this show for quite some time. I've spoken to many legends, ex-state heads, international legendary footballers, and sports is very close to my heart. If the world starts getting women-led, I think a lot of things will get corrected. I'm 100% duty-bound.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the MD and CEO of the TV9 Network, Mr. Barun Das. Barun, please. And well, let's also tell the audience that joining Mr. Barun on stage is, again, somebody who's a cinematic philosopher. He's directed legends, he's redefined genres, and now he's taking artificial intelligence head on. That's right, we're talking about somebody who's directed Masoom, The Bandit Queen, Mr. India, Elizabeth, and of course the list goes on, and now a pioneer of storytelling in the age of AI. Have a quick look.
How original is originality? How real is reality? Where should the line be drawn, and where does the line blur? When storytelling meets AI, will it make magic, or will mediocrity rule? Storytelling in the age of AI, demystifying with Shekhar Kapur, in conversation with Barun Das.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here, and it's even a rarer honor to share the stage with none other than Mr. Shekhar Kapur. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, sir. And I think to start with, we must congratulate you on winning the Padma Bhushan, the third highest honor of the country. A big round of applause for it. Oh, he's got it there. Well, we would straight away jump into the topic. You know, we've seen since maybe 4000 BC, when wheels were invented, then you had telephone, printing press, and then the internet, steam engine in the 18th century, 1876 telephone. There were inventions which changed the course of the way we live. But never before we had started getting worried about the adverse effects of these inventions. And now the new AI, which is going to be an inevitable way of living with AI, but I think we have started getting equally worried about the adverse effect of AI. So why do you think that AI could turn out to be a Frankenstein?
Well, Frankenstein wasn't really a monster. We made him a monster.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. How do we perceive anything? We perceive AI as a big threat. Who perceives AI as a big threat? Let me tell you a story. Well, first, AI, there's never been a more democratic technology than AI. It's almost as powerful as the invention of the wheel. But now imagine if when they invented wheel, people said, now everything was rounded, all roll over and fall down on us. That's how we look at it. We're limited in our thought. But let me tell you a story. There was this CEO that was making his next billion-dollar pitch. He goes to his office early in the morning, He wants to get ready for it. The only person there is the cleaning lady. The cleaning lady says to him, sir, there's like these papers I found in the waste paper basket. Are they important or shall I throw them away? He looks at them, it's his pitch. Now he says, how did my cleaning lady get my pitch? Should I fire my secretary? What am I going to do? But anyway, he said, no. He goes off. As he's going to the office, the cleaning lady says, sir, can I say something? He says, yeah, what is it? What's the problem? He says, sir, you're wrong. That pitch is wrong. And he says, oh, gets irritated. He goes into his office, bangs his door, but doubt sets in. And he starts to look at his pitch, and then he sees that from under his door, the cleaning lady is pushing bits of paper and says, knocks, sir, I've done a pitch also.
Right.
And he looks at her pitch, and it's better. Why was the cleaning lady's pitch better than the CEO's? What does he do? Should he fire the cleaning lady? Should he fire himself? Should he make her the CEO? No. The cleaning lady learned a new language called prompting. And he was still in the old language of flowcharts, MBAs, Harvard, Wharton, everything. All that is gone. All that is gone. That's why I say it's a very democratic technology. There's a new language called prompting, which takes the old world away. And we are entering into AI is an existential change. It's not just a little thing that's happening. And you cannot isolate it. What's going to happen to film? What's going to happen to jobs? Whose jobs? People say, oh, it's going to happen to jobs. I say to CEOs, it's your jobs.
Right. What I was coming to, the fact that originality versus adaptation. Is there a thread there in our field, in the field of media and entertainment? Would originality be one of the victims of AI? You can take the example of Nilesh, your cook, who has produced your the Masoom 2 script. Now that seems to be quite up there, what one can develop from there.
Well, here's the story of Nilesh, if you really want to know. Everybody says, make Mr. India 2. I said, no, I'm not going to make Mr. India 2, but I'll help you develop Mr. India 2. All the big writers came. All of them wrote plots, 3-page, 4-page plots. I'm sitting at my dining table. My cook comes up, sir, I've also written a story for Mr. India 2. Now I have a choice. I either read it or I don't get good food. So I said, okay, I'll read it. And I read it. It was the best. My cook wrote the best new plot for Mr. India 2, and I said, where did you get this from? He said, sir, oh, you sit on ChatGPT? No, ChatGPT gave me the plot. So now your question is, are we losing originality, or is my cook, who's never written anything in his life, gaining something? He'll never go back. I'm very afraid that I'm going to lose him as a cook, because he's found ChatGPT. He's found a way. The thing that's happening with AI is that if we draw a pyramid, it's the bottom of the pyramid that is going to benefit from this very democratic technology, because all technologies that get adapted from those that really want change, they need change.
So that's a topic we're going to come to. Now we've learned that Plato had said that art, any form of art, especially painting or music, what he advocated that it is a copy of what reality is. He said the reality is such and such. We perceive that in our mind, that's our perception, and then we convert that into art, right? So art is actually a copy of what's happening in the real life. Now, I understand that if you feed enough data to AI, he would be able to copy life to a large extent. But the script that Nilesh wrote, you also found some shortcomings in the script. So I would like you to share with the audience that what were the shortcomings of the script?
Let's not get overwhelmed by human originality. I'll tell you where it comes from, but first let's understand. Let's take people, how many of you make series? How many of you actually watch television and watch series? Which of you don't? Okay, there'll be no hands. I had a meeting with one of the very big channels the other day, and I realized that they decide, their computers decide what they want to put out next, right? There's 7 of them sitting there. 7 of them are sitting with notebooks and saying, yeah, this, they'll put in the computer. Their computer is also looking at data that has already happened to put in next. And I said, you know what? You guys should lose your jobs. There's 7 of you that are doing nothing. What you do in 1 month, AI can do in 5 minutes. It can predict everything. What do we do when we watch series? We love the characters. We like the characters to move in a certain way. We understand how the plot moves. AI can pick all that right up, right like that. It'll give you the next 10 episodes in 5 minutes. So they're out of a job. That's what the Hollywood strike was about. Yes, of course, we have to understand that AI scrapes things. It scrapes from here, it scrapes from there, it scrapes from there. So, but we as human beings, we have to worry about our own sense of inertia. It's our own inertia that will lead us to be dependent on AI. Otherwise, to me, for example, right now at this moment, ChatGPT and all the other places, they're great provokers. I talk to them, they talk back to me, I talk to them, they talk back to me. But if I follow them completely, then it's my own inertia that's following them. So yes, of course we scrape, but what is not AI?
That's right. What is it that you didn't find in Nilesh's script?
AI cannot fall in love?
No, just 1 minute. That's something which I would like to spend some time on. Why do you think AI can't fall in love?
AI can talk about love. AI can pick the greatest love stories of all time. It can analyze all the love stories.
But why is that?
Because AI cannot be afraid. We have not fed our data. We cannot teach a computer to be afraid, because computer cannot, it can analyze fear. It cannot be afraid. See, as a kid, most of you, remember when we used to want to jump over a ditch? If there was a ditch in front of us as a child, what do you want to do? You want to jump over it. Why do you want to jump over it? Because you could fall into it. If you knew you were not going to fall into that ditch, you would not want to jump over it. If you knew that if you could climb a mountain without falling off, you'd be perfectly safe, you would not climb the mountain. So there is an element of fear in all of us that makes us want to jump over the ditch. Now AI, if there's a ditch, will calculate whether it can jump over and survive or it cannot jump over and survive. If it can jump over and survive, it'll jump. If it cannot jump over and survive, it won't jump. We as human beings, our sense of innovation, our sense of enterprise, our sense of mystery of life, our sense of love, our sense of faith, everything that we do that is completely heart-based, not mind-based. AI is not heart-based. Everything that we do emotionally and heart-based, AI cannot do, because that's not the data we feed into it.
Look, I would just like to spend
Am I
some
right?
time there.
Is he just arguing with me for nothing? Right?
I
Okay,
am
sorry.
quiet there. No, I'm quiet there.
Okay.
I just want to say that as we learned from Plato, that art imitates imitations of life. Down the line, Oscar Wilde also had said that the life learns more from art than art learns from life. So if that be true, I don't know what would stop AI to learn falling in love. Finally, it is experience that it's gathering.
AI cannot be uncertain because it is data-driven. We are not, as human beings, we are not data-driven. We are mystery-driven, mysterious. So there's no data, there's no plus, minus, dot, this can actually become mysterious. And if we are not, that's what drives us. Elon Musk, who's the greatest guy who says, we're going to put a chip into my mind, why does he want to go to Mars? Because he knows he can go to Mars? No. He wants to go to Mars because he's going to be the only person who could possibly get to Mars and nobody else can go to Mars, and he might fail. The potential of failure is what drives most of us. And that's why I talk about the word inertia. Those that actually strive give in to the idea of fear and failure and try and overcome it. Then we'll always be ahead of AI. If we give up and become inertia, AI will do whatever I need, it'll do it for me, then the human race is doomed. It's depends on whether the human race has inertia or it can deal with its own inertia. My guess is it will deal with its own inertia because ultimately we're afraid of our own existence,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, it's something like that, that you can't feed that kind of a data in an AI that it comes up with the lyrics like lakdi ki kati, kati pe ghoda, ghode pe dhum, mara hato
I mean,
ra.
why would I ever fall in love if my heart can't break? Is there anybody here who would fall in love knowing that my heart will never be broken? Because there's no mystery to falling in love if your heart cannot be broken. Yes?
Can you teach the AI masumiyat?
Masumiyat.
Yep. You can't.
No.
Like the way you can't teach love.
You cannot teach. One day, you know how once we developed all science, my grandmother, okay, let me tell you about my grandmother. My grandmother, every time I went to give an exam, she would give me a teaspoon of dahi, curd with sugar. I said, my grandmother, what she's doing, as if I'll pass my maths exam by eating curd. Now, science is telling me that she was feeding my gut brain. She was right. There's a new aspect of science that is just coming up, which says that the heart sends more messages to the mind, to the brain, than the brain does the mind, which means it's not like when you're falling in love and therefore the mind sends a message and your heart beats faster. No, the heart beats faster and that's how the mind knows you're in love. There's a difference. And as we develop that science, it's science, between the mind and the heart, we'll realize that AI belongs here. Because AI also, the mind is the one that says there's a past, present, or future. The heart doesn't. The heart only deals with what is. This moment, that's it. And it's gone. Now it's gone. Right?
So-
The AI cannot do that.
Right. So, why do you think then there's that Hollywood writers, script writers, etc., they went on strike? So, what were they trying to showcase?
No, they went on strike because they realized that what was being asked of them, actually AI can do. It's what's being asked of them. They're asked to write the next 10 episodes of a series that have been going on for 10 years, right? What's being asked of them is make it a little different, but stay with the same character, shift the character slightly, bring in something here, bring in something there. AI can do that like this, So the script writers, the writers went on strike not because they're saying AI will take away all originality from us. What they're really saying to Hollywood is, you are not original. You are not asking us for originality, because if they were really asking for the unexpected, AI won't do that, cannot do that.
So
Inertia, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's an
inertia. So they need-
in our behavior, in the corporate behavior, how many of you work with corporations? And how many of you accept that you find a lot of inertia in the way corporates go? Yeah, completely. The moment you form a corporation, please tell that to all the startups, you're creating inertia, your biggest fight. And AI it takes inertia out of the system.
So-
it goes like this.
So basically, if you're not good enough, then AI might replace you.
Or if you're sensible enough, you let AI do you. What is it?
Right.
If you're
If
not
you're
good enough,
sensible
let
enough.
AI you do it. People have asked me, describe AI. Describe an organization. You run a huge organization. Describe, and I'm saying the pyramid is going to be destroyed. What I'm saying is that AI is taking inertia out. It's stamping on the pyramid. The pyramid is now flat. Who runs it? Who's the CEO? Who's the cleaning lady? Who is in? How are these organizations going to run? See, I'm getting away from film because the reason I'm getting away from film because storytelling changes as the world changes.
Yeah.
We tell stories as the world is, right? If the world is going through an existential change, then there has to be an existential change in the way we tell stories. So, you know what's called the murmurings of the sparrows? You've seen those hundreds of birds, sparrows flying, and suddenly hundreds and thousands of them will suddenly shift, like as if they were one, but they're not one. There are hundreds, there are thousands of sparrows. How does that work? Who decided, and they shift in complete unison almost immediately. No inertia. How does that work? We have to understand that idea of an organization. How do they do it? Nobody leads. Nobody follows. It's like
So,
somebody.
but they say that agentive AI can even enable that down the line, Shekhar Kapur and Barun did not be here to have this conversation. They will have the agentive AI of ours, and the conversation will carry on.
Barun, as long as you're afraid, you're fine. As long as you fear, you're fine. As long as you can fall in love and say, oh, God, I'm in love now. What do I do? What do I do? This whole expression of what the hell do I do is a mystery. As long as you're there, you're human and you're fine. You'll beat AI. If inertia, oh God, it's okay. Whatever happens, it's okay. Then you lose to AI.
Anyway, I'm trying to accelerate my retirement with or without AI. So that, now, you also have spoken about democratization of technology and your Dharavi project, QK. Would you like to share some bit of Dharavi project with us?
Well, we've been talking about it. I'm saying that AI is the most democratic technology we'll ever had. A.R. Rahman, is he here? He said he would be here. You see, he's cheated me and run away. I never run away from his sessions. He runs away. But we've been running a music school in Dharavi. Universal joined us, where we teach kids in Dharavi rap and hip hop, and some of them become very big. We are now starting a film school for the slum kids of Dharavi who are 11 and 12 to teach them filmmaking through artificial intelligence. Because they can learn, we can teach them prompting, right? And then they can make their own films. They don't need to go to a film school or a camera. They'll create films out of prompting.
Finally, Shekhar, this is another very my personal question when I observe the way things are happening. This year in Oscars, Adrian Brody, he got the Best Actor prize, despite the fact that he's used AI to get his Hungarian accent. So Oscar has made it very clear that you can leverage AI, as you were saying. But will such a scenario come? You see, most of the actors of today, they possibly do not know what their AI version, their AI rights can do. When you're talking about an original movie, that's fine. But let's say if you're making a movie, most of the movies made out of mythical stories in India, you see most of them do very well. So an actor X, his movie is going to be released on that Friday. If I know the usage of AI effectively, I get to know about the movie released today, and the movie is to be released next Friday. I can create an AI version of the same movie because nobody has rights to the story. It's a mythical character, and release it on the same day when the blockbuster is supposed to be released. What happens in that scenario?
Of course, deepfake is a problem. But should we boot AI out because it can create deepfake?
No, you should never take AI out.
No, there's huge. I agree. I mean, there's that. We just, actors need to protect themselves against that. But my guess is that we'll soon not need stars. Stars are going to be out of a job because the AI will create its own stars. If I create a character on AI, let's face it. Walt Disney did that years ago with animation. Yes, 100 years ago, Walt Disney did it with animation. He created stars, right? And they still survive. AI will create more human-like stars. And I can create a star on AI, it'd be my copyright. And very soon there'll be a whole slew of an idea of AI movies that will have a girl or a boy or a man or a woman that I've created through AI that will be my copyright. In fact, now it's happening more and more. A lot of the influences that you see are not human. The AI created. So why can't we have films with actors, characters who have become stars because we've created them on AI? So actors will find that there's big competition now from AI creators. So I don't need Amitabh Bachchan. I'll create my own character. I don't need Shah Rukh. I create my own character. And if I'm good enough, I'll create a character that the audiences will love. And then I have my own character. So AI is a completely different idea. I'm not saying that AI will overcome, you'll see theatrical, but TikTok, you don't see in theater, you don't see it. Everything, every new technology creates its own way of audiences looking at it. It creates its own view. It creates its own culture of viewing. AI will create its own culture of viewing. It may not be theatrical, but how many? Theatrical is only 2% of the world's consumption of media today. 2%. That's all it is.
Right. Shekhar, it was fantastic talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.